Soldier, keep on marching on. Head down till the work is done. Waiting on that morning sun. Soldier, keep on marching on. Oh, oh, oh.
Ladies, have you ever seen a man and you just thought to yourself, warrior, king? Oh my goodness. As this man walked towards me, his strides were so powerful, and his arms, his legs. What kind of man can draw the attention from a 300-pound lion? I mean, I wasn't even thinking about the lion no more. I was stuck. I was being held in a hypnotic gaze by this man. As he walked towards me, I realized two things. One, my mouth was open. I was probably drooling. And two, I needed to run. I needed to go. I needed to get away from him. But my legs were stuck. They would not move. Get it together, Butta. You act like you never seen an attractive man up close before. Attractive? Yes. One that oozed raw power? No, I've never experienced this before. Think about your mother. You got to think about your mother. If you mess up this job, Dollar Bill will kill her, and you know it. You know he will. Get it together. You can't think about this man. You have to think about Lovely. That's it. I squared my shoulders, y'all. What was I thinking? Sitting here fawning over some man, got my mouth open, flies flying in the window. What was I thinking? Oh my goodness. So out of character. But I was back. I put my mask firmly in place. I held my head up high, and I proceeded to walk past him. I didn't have nothing to do with him. He didn't have nothing to do with me. As I walked toward him, I took the chance to check him out just a little bit, on the download, not letting him know what I'm really doing. I really liked his style. He was dressed in a tank top, something similar to mine, but boy, did his tank top fill out way more than mine. And he had on a pair of black sweats, and on his feet he had a pair of gym shoes on. He looked so athletic, Butta, focus, that's right. The closer I got to him, I went on and flashed him with that killer smile. You know the one that bring the brothers to their knees. But he scowled at me, held up one eyebrow as if my action was somehow suspicious. Okay, not the response I normally got, but whatever. Hey, I said, as I attempted to glide past him. He was so wide, y'all, he was taking up almost the whole hallway. But before I could get past him, a very strong hand wrapped around my arm, bringing me to a complete stop. I looked back at his scowling face, and my mask slipped again. I couldn't help but be frightened now. His grip, although not hurting me, was unmovable. I tried to yank my arm away. Nothing. His fingers was like steel. My eyes flew back up to his. His smoldering, rusted gaze raked over me, my face, my neck, my breast, leaving fire in his wake. Now, I wasn't new to men paying attention to me like this. I started getting looks at the tender age of 11. But when I tell y'all, ain't no man look ever made me feel like this. This man made me feel like I was on fire and I was burning, and only he can put out the flames. I had to get out of here. I said to him, and I gave him a little attitude, because first of all, you really don't need to be putting your hands on people, especially people you don't know. He don't know I could really do some damage to him for all he knows. For all he knew, I knew karate, and I know he big, and I know he tough, but who knew? Can you let me go? I asked him. No, was all he said. He spoke like a man used to getting his words obeyed. Bold and strong, his voice caused little shivers to dance down my back and spine. my lower abdomen. It was deep yet raspy, kind of reminded me of sandpaper. Why not? I asked, frowning up at him. His eyes lowered to the pulse of my neck that even I could feel ticking out of control. Nervously, my tongue came out to moisten my suddenly dry lips. His eyelids lowered as his gaze followed. I could not remember when the last time a woman aroused me to pain like this one was doing right now. Up close, I could see she was a lot younger than I originally thought. She appeared to be a little over a teen. How old are you? I asked. Her pretty mouth opened in feigned shock. Now, Lyon, you should know not to ask a woman her age. And then she batted them killer eyes at me. So she knew who I was, did she? You know who I am? I asked her. Come on, man, she said, in that street sassy voice of hers. Everybody in the hood know who you are. She tried to pull her arm from me again, but when I still didn't let her go, I saw her fighting to keep herself together. But it was good that she learned now that she didn't go anywhere unless I allowed it. I'm at a disadvantage. I don't know who you are, I told her, starting to draw her closer to me. I watched her turn and look toward the front door with longing. She played at being a big girl, but she was terrified of me and she couldn't even hide it, although she tried her best. When her tongue came out and she licked those lush lips again, I had to ball my hand up in a fist to keep from gripping that brown afro puff and holding her head so that I could ravish her mouth. She had the kind of lips that'll draw a man to distraction. Everything about this girl was seductive, from the wild hair that she wore natural to her exotic facial features. I could see that the only makeup she wore was a little lip gloss. Her skin was the color of warm honey, and she had the kind of curves that was just begging for my caress. I couldn't help myself. I pulled her so close until her softness was up against my heart. Slowly, I leaned in, and I put my lips lightly to her neck so that I can inhale her essence. She smelled like flowers. I groaned. Never in my life have I been so tempted to taste before. I was getting ready to hyperventilate. Being this close to this man had paralyzed me. My legs felt like they were going to give out. His lips lightly brushed my neck, but I felt like he had just set me on fire. I inhaled, taking in his scent. He smelled like sandalwood. I reached up to push at his chest, but it was so hard and it was so warm, my palms just ended up resting on his pecs. What's your name, baby? He whispered, as his lips grazed my neck again. This time I thought I felt a little tongue. I inhaled sharply as my body came alive for the very first time in my life. Although I had never went all the way with a man, I had fooled around a little bit, and never, when I tell you never, have a man's touch caused my insides to turn into jelly like this. I mean it. Butta, I whispered, appalled to hear my name come out as a breath. I was not handling his nearness well. I tried to give myself a mental shake. I had always been able to handle men. I had always had the upper hand, getting them to do things that I wanted them to do. He was no different. Now, if I could just get this message from my head to my heart, maybe I would be able to get out of this extremely sticky situation. I had to get away from him. Yes, that was the right answer. I inhaled and did a little move I had become famous for. I had let my body go soft against his, melting into him, so that every one of my soft curves formed around his hard body as if they had been built together. And just as I knew he would, his grip loosened in surprise at the feel of my flesh giving. I took advantage of that and slid out of his grasp. Swiftly, I stepped back and gave him a look of utter triumph. followed by a little mischievous smile. I'm just like butter, baby. You can't hold me. And then I turned and disappeared through the crowd and out the door.